You can put it in the chat. What's your interest in data engineering? I would like to know. I would like to know. I would like to know. Okay. So we have someone from Anambra State, but okay. So why data engineering is a key thing? I would like to know also why data engineering. Okay. The money and the benefit, Jojo big man, literally. Yeah. It's the money and the benefit. There's quite a number of money, there's quite a number of benefits in data engineering. So hence the reason why most people want to go into data engineering. So when when I started my career, data engineering was not, it wasn't even the career path. It wasn't even, it was, maybe it existed, but it wasn't mainstream. All right. So you see, a lot of people want to become data analysts and data scientists, but they ignore data engineering. Okay, they ignore data engineering. Okay, but now the old landscape, the old data ecosystem now, data engineering is actually one of the highest paid career paths in the industry at the moment. It's actually one of the highest paid career paths in the tech ecosystem, not just in data, all right, in the tech ecosystem. So when you have ML engineers, you have machine learning engineers, you have data engineers. So anything in line with those engineering will actually pay them a whole lot of money. All right. So definitely BMAN is absolutely correct. The money in data engineering is absolutely, is absolutely fantastic, to be very honest. So we also have I had engineering background in mechanical and I love coding. Fantastic. Akano, it's also very spot on. You love coding, definitely you're in the right place. All right. So merge it with my current line of work. Okay, fantastic. That's also is the new normal in the world of today. Fantastic. Also, you're keeping abreast of what's happening at the moment and you're trying to upskill yourself to also be demand, be part of the people in demand. All right. I'm interested in data engineering because I have interest. You have interest, you've done your research, which is very good. Operate myself, so on and so forth. I heard a lot of testimonies from people in the field. So the money, the money is a great inspiration and motivation. That's also very good. So yes, absolutely all the things, those things are very valid. If you're going into a particular career path because of the money, you're in the right place. That's essentially what you want to achieve. All right. So yeah, so essentially data engineering is one of the is actually a very fulfilling career path. Okay. And we're going to be talking about so many things. We're going to be talking about so many things today. So I want you guys to sit back, relax, and let's discuss and see how we can work together. All right. Okay. So just to run through, I'll just run through some slides and would it's going to be a very interactive session and we're just about 38 on the call. So it's just going to be, I would like you guys to interact, ask questions, raise up your hands if you have any questions, and I'll be happy to take the questions since we're not a lot on the call. All right, we'll just take it as simple and straightforward as possible. All right. So, has anybody heard of Analytics before joining the session? Do I have anybody in the house that have heard of Analytics? You've seen Analytics, you've seen what we do, so on and so forth. Do I have anybody in the house that have heard of Analytics or that have not heard of Analytics? So if you've not heard of Analytics, could you put, a yes in the chat or a no in the chat, whatever you want? No, not really. Okay. So Zachariah said no, not really. No. Okay. Okay. All right. Yeah, we have a lot of no's in the house. Okay. All right, that's fine. So I'll just do a little brief introduction about Analytics and the work that we do. Okay. So Analytics, I heard from a friend. That's fantastic. So Analytics is an educational technology firm. Okay. And what we focus on is upskilling, Africans and the Black community, and bridge the career, bridge the capacity building in terms of getting more Africans into the tech ecosystem. All right. Now you see a lot of people relocating. You see a lot of people trying to get a new job, but they don't have the required skill for them to get the future of work, the kind of jobs that are available in the future of work. Okay, so back in the days, you want to get a new job. What do? You apply for you apply. All right, because of your years of experience, you can get a new job. Now, but you notice that majority of those roles that are coming out now are taking time. So if you want to even become an HR professional, there's analytics inside. You want to become you want to become an operational supply chain, whatever field you find yourself. there's a form of analytics tech involved in it. So it's not like before where you can just apply because you have experience, you just apply. Most roles now need, that analytics. And that's why you see a lot of people finding it difficult to get a new job. All right. And people come up with that notion that there is no job because they don't have the right skills that these organizations are looking for. Especially people that are relocating. That's another very critical area. People that are relocating, moving outside the country, you're going to the UK, you're going to Canada, you're going to the US, you're going outside the country. All right. You see these people tell themselves, go and learn how to barb, go and learn how to sew clothes, go and learn how to fish, go and learn how to wash plates properly so that you can make extra cash. But nobody tells them to learn a technical skill that will get them more money, all right, more peace of mind, so on and so forth. So that's what we are doing. We're trying to educate people, majorly Africans and the Black community, and help them transition into the tech space. So more Africans in the tech space. From my own experience, I barely see Africans with the teams I work with. I've worked with teams across the UK, across Europe, across, Northern America, and America itself. But you barely see Africans. So what we are trying to do is to get more Africans into tech. Okay, so you're from Rwanda, yes, you can get a tech job in the US. Absolutely. So those are the things that we are doing, and those are the things that we have actually achieved breaking in also. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. That's what we stand for. So we offer an array of training programs cutting across data analytics, data science, data business analysis, data engineering that we're going to be talking about today, data analytics, financial analytics, so on and so forth. So the whole essence of all this training program is to help yourself, myself, more African people into the tech space. The moment you're there, it becomes easy for you to drag up the next person. And at the end of everything, we can see more Africans in tech. That's what we want to achieve. That's literally our mantra. All right. So we do this, we offer these training programs by leveraging experienced professionals, people that have experience essentially. All right. So you see people that have 5, 10 years experience in the space. All right. We bring them to mentor, to train, participants that are looking to transition to any of the career paths that we offer. All right. So from app people, our facilitators come from Apple, Microsoft, Toju, okay, from McKinsey, from Sahara, from Coca-Cola, to other big fintech, and other big tech firms across the world. So these people are going to be using their own experience to teach participants and leverage their own experience to, get their first role in the tech space. So that's what we do. And we've been doing this for close over 3 years now, okay? And we've done remarkably well. Okay, just last year, we were able to help over 300 people transition into tech from classroom. This means they had no experience, they had no prior skills, they had no education, and they were able to transition from classroom to getting their first job. This is 300 of them. So we had other set of people that transitioned unilaterally within the organization. So they were working in business, maybe they're working in operations or they're working in customer service, and they were able to move from those roles into the roles that they were looking for. All right. So those are the things that we did last year. And we're saying, okay, we did this last year. Can we do more? That child, your microphone keeps coming up. So please, you want to stay muted so we can hold it together. All right. So that's what we did last year. We were looking at doing more this year. So we had people getting jobs across different regions in Canada, in the UK, in literally across Europe. That's in North Netherlands, Norway. We have people getting jobs in Germany, France, Italy, so on and so forth. So these are the things that we did last year. We said, okay, you know what, let's do more this year. And the cool thing, when you start to do, great things, people start to pick it up. So we were featured in different articles across the nation, that's across Nigeria. So these are all reputable, news platforms. So you see Business Day is one of the largest in Nigeria. And you can see what they wrote there. Analytics helps African across 4 continent land tech jobs. So those are the things that we did. They recognized and they decided to write about what we did. Same thing with Nairametrics, also one of the popular, news outlets. So you can see we held the biggest and the largest data analytics hackathon last year. It was very massive. We had over 2,000 people register for the hackathon. And we had over over 1,000 people actually compete from across the world. The winner actually was from the UK, but we had people from Gambia, from Sierra Leone, from Cameroon, from across Africa. All right, so it was actually very, very interesting. So we held that session last year, and 1 million naira was up for grabs, and that was what we did. So you see, we'll be featured on different news channels from Punch to Vanguard to Business Day, so on and so forth. So this particular one, the hackathon held last week, okay, and you can see our judges. This is Michelle Conway, okay, she's currently the lead data scientist with Lloyds Bank in the UK. Sadiq currently works with Google. Sebastian currently works with Cambridge University, and Olamide John currently works as the head of analytics for Women Bank in Nigeria. All right. So the winner of the hackathon actually won 1,000. The top three position won $1,000. These are the things that we are doing to improve the tech capacity of Africans. Okay, these are the things, these are the initiatives that we're doing, from getting people jobs to getting people excited about hackathons. All these things that we're putting them together. We actually were featured also in the UK. So if you know Fire for the UK, we're also featured on that platform to say that Analytics reiterates commitment to help Africans get tech jobs in Europe. And that's based on what we did last year. I would say this year, I actually want to get more people into the tech ecosystem, get more people into the tech environment. And that's what we are set out to do. That's what we set out to do. All right. So moving on to the next thing, our participants, all right, currently work in different organizations. So in the past, 2, 3 years that we've been doing this, okay, we have quite a very, very successful, alumni base. Okay. So we have people working in Fraser's, HSBC, Cognizant, Western Union, Amazon, Revolut, PZ Persons, Lever. So, other major tech brands across the world, big four companies, EY, PwC, Deloitte. You have participants working in all these organizations. So you might just go there and your next colleague definitely is part of it. I've gone through to analytics. All right. So that's basically about what we've done, and the things that we've achieved as a company. Okay. So moving on to the next thing. Okay. Meeting your facilitators for today. Okay. So myself, Ifemena April, and Byron Neji are going to be your facilitators. So I'll just do a little bit of introduction myself. I'll call on Byron to also introduce himself so you can know the people that you are going to be discussing with today. All right. So my name is Ifemena April. I transitioned into tech. I like to say that because a lot of people feel we don't have the background to get into tech. So they feel we're not good enough to get started because they don't have a computer science degree. They don't have a computer science degree. They don't have any tech degree whatsoever. So I had an economics for my first degree. All right, economics for my first degree, and I eventually transitioned into the data space. I worked as a data analyst, a data scientist, business intelligence developer, business systems analyst. I worked in logistics, supply chain, health tech, fintech, so many other brands across different industries. So currently, I lead the business data support team for the post office here in the UK. So I'm the one in charge of, leading data support across the organization. All right. Currently with the post office, I think I've deployed several initiatives. All right. But I'll talk about that as we go on in the training program. So if you're looking to connect with me on LinkedIn, on Twitter, on Instagram, send me DM and I'll be happy to have a chat with you. So now I'll be calling on Byron to, introduce himself, let people get to know you also. So Byron, are you okay?
Yeah, thank you, Femina. So, hi everyone. My name is Byron. Byron, yeah. So sometimes I like explaining that name so that you can pronounce it properly, like buy something run away. Okay. So yeah, yeah. So unlike Femina, I have a science background, and I don't really like telling people that I studied computer engineering. I don't like it, and yeah. So Femina, I think someone is asking for your LinkedIn handle.
Yeah, I'll drop it. Yeah.
Okay. So I had I have a computer engineering background, but I don't like mentioning it. The reason is because I didn't learn anything in the computer engineering. At the time we got into school, I think computer engineering was a kind of new concept. It wasn't. In short, majority of our lecturers didn't study computer engineering. They kind of studied say electrical electronics or something. In short, my department was elect slash computer engineering. All right. So you know how the system could be where you are using about 4 years out of 5 years to learn other courses, civil engineering, electrical electronics, and then in your year five, you are already learning what you should have started learning from year two. So it's a kind of very funny story because I remember in my year five, my HOD would even send us to go call a computer repairer from the street to come and repair his system in the office. You can imagine how bad it was. So sometimes it's kind of like weird for me because when I say something like I studied computer engineering, they're like, oh, no wonder. There is no wonder attached to it. But I got into it because I needed to know it, and I still didn't know much when I got into it. Most of the things were theory. We were writing our programming codes on paper. I don't know how we're passing or failing it. So yeah, so we didn't even touch system. We contributed money to buy systems for our laboratory, but we didn't have access to the systems. Yeah, so it has a kind of long story. I believe that a lot of us can relate with it. Yeah. So yeah, so I'm trying to explain that because just like the Femina said, it's not based on a technical background that you should probably know, say, data engineering. Okay, it first has to do with your interest and the understanding of what it is. So this is what we're explaining. It's funny that I didn't even know data engineering until when I started knowing data engineering, which is on my profile, like 3 years experience in data engineering. So I could say it was just 3 years back, all right, that I really got into data engineering. However, I was even in data and I didn't know I was in a data field. Okay, so I will break it down and explain to us. So after school, I got into yeah, you do your normal studies. Then next thing you're looking for job, you're looking for hustle. So I was not looking for a tech job. I was looking for anything to survive. And then I got into the bank. The bank is another place that could accept a zoologist. And you could be a botanist and yes, you're a banker. So I got into the bank. And I remember my interview question. They asked me like, "What's the relationship between computer engineering and banking?" Hey, I don't know how to explain it. I just said, "Oh, they share the same ancestors." And the person was like, "Excuse me, do you know that we are serious in this place?" And I said, "Oh, okay, you didn't ask me why." And he said, "Okay, why?" I was like, "Okay, I was very good in my theory." So I was like, "Can you remember abacus?" She said, I was interviewing you. Are you the one interviewing me? I said, "Okay, let me imagine you don't know abacus." So abacus is a counting device. "Excuse me, brother, I know abacus. Can you go ahead?" I said, "Okay, fine." So abacus is used for mathematical operations, right? And banking is based on mathematical operations, isn't it? So abacus is the history of computer, and that is how banking also came about because it has to do with numbers. So would I be wrong to say that our ancestor or the ancestral spirit is the abacus? So we have the same. We say, "Oh wow, that's a nice logic." And I thanked God that she didn't ask beyond that because probably that was the only kind of knowledge I could exude in terms
Is
of
it?
the computer engineering thing. So, well, fast forward, I was good in marketing. I was good in the operations part. I was in the bank. I got promoted. I had like, but I still had the hunger to really do something. I didn't want to feel like a robot. Okay, I was in the operations. I would be shocked if a lot of persons here are also bankers. So you understand what I mean when you're in the operations and you're doing same thing every now and then. Okay, like you come and it's like you've been programmed. Okay, you come, you collect the cash, you count it, and then you leave. Every day it's the same thing. So I didn't like that thing. I wanted to apply my initiative. I wanted to do something. And then somehow I got into marketing. Okay. And I preferred marketing because I could use my initiative. It was more like my promotion was tied to what I do, but I was still hungry. I started trying to do things. I learned WordPress. I learned how to design websites with WordPress. I was doing graphics design and I was good at it. Then, I advanced into WordPress and I was trying to build websites with it. All these ones were kind of personal training. All right. So, but along the line, I had to resign from the bank because I wanted to take risk. And I advised some of my friends that I wanted to follow suit that they shouldn't try it because I was taking a very dangerous risk. great. I was leaving the bank into something that I didn't know, but I wanted to pursue tech. So I had to invest like the last of my cash in buying a lot of Udemy courses, in trying to learn. And I didn't know a lot of things. And that's why I was very comfortable, and I love the fact that something like analytics existed, because it is possible for you to learn by yourself, but the journey is longer if you are not guided. So I spent a lot of time in trying to become a tech person. And there's a problem in trying to learn those things by yourself, because along the line you are going to see other things that are going to come to to entice you, like, oh, there's something like product management, there's something like this, and then you start asking yourself if I should just go learn this one. Yeah, during the process of learning, you could get frustrated and there's no one to encourage you, and you could just drop it and say, okay, I will start maybe some other time. Before you know, you're kind of lagging behind, and then you now realize that what you were learning just like some months back or some few years back is obsolete now. And then you're like, how can I go about this thing? You're learning CSS, then the next thing you're seeing CSS3, CSS this, and you're seeing like more advanced kind of CSS. Before you know, you realize that CSS now you can use it to do animations that you were probably learning in JavaScript. And like, what the heck is this? So at the point you could get confused. And when you get to the internet and you're looking for advice, you're seeing a lot of persons giving you advice. There was a time I saw somebody advising data engineers to learn Excel, and I was wondering what's the connect. You then now get confused. Then I've attended interviews where a data analyst was the one that interviewed me for a data engineering role, and then he was like, "Oh, how is your Power BI skills?" Excuse me, we don't really have much to do with Power BI. Everybody is giving you their own suggestions on how to do this. So I kind of grew. I tried to learn one or two things. I was moving from here to there. From the banking part, I got to learn business development. Okay, so I started doing business dev with my little tech skills. The only tech skill I had then was more of Google Sheets. So I was like a badass Google Sheets guy. So I applied my JavaScript skills and I was coding my Google script, and I used it to make some money. So I got into my place during the COVID-19 period. I went
Amazing.
to meet some cocoa warehouse guys, like, oh, people that couldn't really buy software. So I had to practice. I had to look at some softwares, like some ERP softwares, like Sage, QuickBooks. I was like, oh, okay, now I want to create my Google Sheets to do the same work that this ERP is doing. Is it possible or not? I told myself it was possible, and I sat down and successfully I built a Google Sheet that could do almost exactly what the ERP software could do. And that was because some persons couldn't afford to start subscribing for the ERP software on a yearly basis, but they needed those services. So I used my Google Sheets to do that. And I was being paid for that. Here in Nigeria, I was being paid for that. So different shops, many. So I realized that I didn't know that what I was doing was data. I didn't know what I was doing was data analysis. I didn't have any intention of going into data analysis, but I fell in love with data. And one of the reasons why I fell in love with data was because it was looking like there was a lot of business needs, business requirements in data field. There are a lot of issues in the data field. Like, I discovered that majority of the I discovered all right, yeah. So I have colleagues that are that okay, you can relate, right? So I discovered that there were a lot of issues in. Do you know that if you want to check statistics, a lot of business failure comes as a result of lack of data. Okay, look at during the COVID period, and then you could see that there were some solutions that were happening in the organized part, where some persons, because they were affected by COVID, they could probably, send some things to tenants, and all those things. The government could do something for some citizens that were affected. Come to Nigeria, how will you even know somebody's a tenant? you, there was nothing to really show who this person is. There was nothing to really show. There were some programs that they were bringing that were going to credit people that were like low income based. There was no proper data to show the income level of this person. So if you go to the informal part, you see that there was a lot of filtering. I know how much that Google Sheet saved persons a lot. Like, even I did something even for as little as a POS business, and I created the Google Sheet, programmed it, and then the POS guy could not even steal, because at the end of the day, you will just balance it. It will show you, the sheet is going to show you the expected balance in the POS device and how much should be in cash. Then it will calculate if you made profit or loss. So when you ask the POS guy, like, okay, so you are meant to give me 5,000, how come you are giving me 4,570 naira? And guys like, okay, now how you take no say 30 naira no day here? Yeah, the sheet was, detecting those things. And that's how you realize that almost every business that exists here is kind of
Data
growing by the grace
related.
of God. Yeah, it's
Absolutely.
great. It's great by the grace of God, because people, if you don't have
Okay.
proper data process, yeah, you won't be able to. So from there, I realized that what I was doing was in the line of data analysis. So I said, oh, so I'm already a data analyst. Yeah. So from there, I got a job with a agricultural technology company, Relief Africa, and then I became their lead data analyst in Relief. Yeah. So I continued working, and then I saw that I really needed to do more, because initially I had interest to be a software engineer, but I didn't really have the. So then along the line, I discovered data engineering, and data engineering was interesting to me because it was more like a combo of software engineering and analysis. All right, so that's like a very rough history of getting into data engineering, and then I got into an academy that built me, and then I continued advancing, and here I am, very confident that I'm a data engineer. So I guess my story has a lot of people's stories. Yeah, so
Yeah.
that's
That's
yeah,
that's
that's
absolutely
that's my
that's
story.
all right. That's absolutely fantastic. So Byron is the lead, the data engineering lead for analytics, and is the one of also myself, Byron, and so many other experts that are going to be working with you to get you into the data engineering career path. Okay. So you can see all the things that we're talking about. Okay, is purely the baseline is you can actually learn this thing and transition into data engineering. That's essentially what we are trying to drive. Okay. So we'll still talk more. We'll still get to know each other better. Okay. As we go on during the session. So let's jump straight into the session. What are we going to do today? Let's talk about what we are going to do today. So the first thing is we'll get to understand why there is high demand for data engineering. Why is everybody talking about data engineering, data engineering, data engineering? Why is there so much force about data engineering? Okay, that's the first thing we're going to talk about. Now, the second thing is what's the pathway to becoming a data engineer? Okay, and securing a job. Because at the end of everything, you're learning a new skill, not just for the fun of it. You're learning it to get a full-time job, to get a better job, to get a better pay, to make more money, like you guys have rightly said. So how do you secure this job? If you're currently in Nigeria and you want to get a job in the US, how can you get a job in the US? Is it possible for you to get a job in the US or in the UK, in Canada, or even relocate and all that? Is it possible? We're going to be exploring those things when we get there. Okay. The next part also is remote full-time opportunity. So you want to work, like I rightly said, you want to work for a company in the US, UK, Canada, Netherlands, and across Europe, and you'll be earning your foreign currency and you'll be living in Nigeria. So those are the things that we are going to be talking about. And the tech relocation opportunities. Now, tech is so much in high demand that countries are willing to sponsor you to come into that country to come and work. Wow. It's only if you have the skill. Only if you have the skill. Not for everybody. It's not for everyone. It's only if you have the skill. All right. So we also have a special offer for people that wait to the end of the session. It's only if you wait to the end of the session, you get this special offer. Simple and short. All right. So we also the last thing, which is absolutely fantastic for our participants and people that have gone through analytics. One of the things that really helped them land their special jobs is the Analytics Growth Internship Program. The Analytics Growth Internship Program. So these are the things that we're going to discuss today. Okay. And trust me, you're going to be having a good time. You're going to be learning a lot. Okay. So first of all, we're going to talk about why data engineers are such in high demand. Why is there so much force around data engineering? Why are they being paid the most? Why are they in high demand and so on and so forth? Well, let's explore that first of all. Now, bear in mind that this session is recorded. And those that wait to the end of the session, we get the recording will get, access to all the materials that we are going to be sharing. So please stay to the end of the session so you can get the recording, you can hear about the special offer that we have for you, and you can also learn more about the Analytics Growth Internship Program. So those are the things that we're going to be looking at today. All right. So if you are ready for us to get started, can you put a yes in the chat? If you're ready for us to get started into what we're going to be talking about today, put a yes in the chat. Let me hear from you guys quickly. All right, fantastic. Yes, yes, yes. With so much exclamation mark. All right, yes. All right, let's go. Let's go. Let's go. All right, so we're going to start first with why is there so much? So I'm going to just mute everyone so that we don't get distracted because a lot of people are muting themselves and those things can be very, very, yes. So why data engineering? Why is there so much data engineering? Why is there so much force around data engineering? So let's start. Let's start with that. So now, why data engineering? Have you ever imagined? I want you guys to just think how much data is being generated every month. How much data do you generate every month? Let me have one. So if I ask you this question, how much data do you generate every month? Are you like, is it Aki? This is Popo? Are you like Popo? Are you punching the calculator at the moment and you're trying to calculate how many data you generate every month? How much data you personally generate every month? Have you ever thought about it? Let me see you guys. Let me hear from you guys. I want you can put it in the chat. Just take a weird guess. Just make a good guess. Nope. Nobody can guess. Do you know how much data you generate on a monthly basis? Do you have an idea of the amount of data you generate? Infinite. No, I don't know. Okay, quite a number. Okay. So a lot of people, lots of data, you can't actually put a number to it. So that's why you're saying lots of data. Fine. So I'll quantify it for you. I'll quantify it for you. Just one individual. Let's start. All right. So the burst of data, they call it the burst of data because data all of a sudden just became the new buzzword, became the new oil of the future, and it's regarded as literally the oil of that's is replacing oil essentially. All right. So data is everywhere. It's everywhere. It exists everywhere. All right. Now take a look at you. Okay, let's take it just you as a person. Okay, we all use smartphones. Okay, we all use smartphones. So we're using Samsung, iPhone, you're using Infinix, Xiaomi, whatever smartphone you're using, it's a smartphone. Xiaomi, everything, they're all smartphones. Okay. So we receive text messages, we send out text messages, phone calls, we receive, we send, we call, emails, we send, we receive, we're doing these activities on a daily basis. Okay. So photos, videos, searches, music, we are doing these things on a daily basis. These are just a few things that we do on our mobile phone, on our smartphone on a daily basis. Now, 40 exabytes. That's one thing I would like to say. 40 exabyte of data is generated by a single individual. By a single individual. 40 exabytes. Now, I'm very sure you guys are wondering what is exabyte? What is exabyte? Don't worry, I'm going to show you now quickly. Okay, so I'm just going to open my browser and I'm going to show you something out quickly. Okay, and you see. So I'm going to open the browser and I'm going to put in exabytes. Exabyte to gig, okay? Exabyte to gig. Now you don't know what exabyte is, but you know what a gig is. Okay, we're all familiar with gig. Okay, so one exabyte is equals to what? 1 million gigs. Okay, one exabyte is
Terabytes.
equals, oh, it's okay, terabyte, sorry. GGB. Okay, thanks a lot for that. So it's 1 billion. Okay, 1 exabyte equals to 1 billion gigs. Do you understand what I'm saying now? 1 exabyte is equals to 1 billion gigs. All right, that's not what you're generating now. So the estimation is an individual is generating 40 exabytes every month. So one individual is generating 40 exabytes. 1 exabyte, okay, is equals to 1 billion each. Okay, pardon my writing. I'm using my mouse. All right. So 1 exabyte equals to 1 billion G. Now, and you're looking at 40 exabytes. Okay, this is common mathematics. You do what? What do you do? You cross multiply. Okay. So obviously that is what? How many billion? That is 40 what? 40 billion or for that will be 40 billion, essentially 40 billion gig. Now that is 40 billion. Okay, 40 billion gig. Okay, that's what you're generating on a monthly basis. You, one individual using a smartphone in a month, you're generating an estimate of 40 billion gigs of data. Now, there's an estimation also to say there are 5 million smartphone users across the world. There are 5 million smartphone users across the world. The reason why we're looking across the world is internet has made everything globalized. Okay. So you can buy stuff on Amazon. You can sell stuff on Amazon. You can play music from YouTube, regardless of anywhere you are. So it's globalized. As long as you're using a smartphone and you have internet, you can do anything on the internet. You can make phone calls, you can make video calls, all those things. You do it on a daily basis. So the estimation is 5 billion smartphone users across the world. Now, and each smartphone user is generating 40 exabytes, which is 40 billion gig. So when you multiply 40 billion gigs, okay, by 5 billion customers, smartphone users, what what kind of mathematics? You know, even mathematics will even tell you that even calculators will crash if they try to calculate that. Okay, so you see, there is so much data that is being generated on a daily basis. It is being generated. So, and this is not just Excel data. This is not just Excel, CSV, Excel, not that kind of data. We're talking about what we call big data that is being generated on a daily basis. So you see why there's so much importance about data. This is just a tip of the iceberg about what the opportunities that there are in data. So when somebody's telling you that everybody's learning data, there's no job for data anymore, it's impossible. All right, because we have never even scratched the surface of the opportunities that we have in data. Now let's continue. This is just to tell you this is just to give you a mental picture of the kind of data, the amount of data that is being generated on a daily basis, okay, on a monthly basis, okay. All right. Now let's look at it in terms of a business. All right, because you're not going to be a data engineer outside the business, okay? You're going to be a data engineer within the confinement of a business or an organization, a company. All right. Now, these businesses operate using what we call ERP and CRM tools. Okay. Now, if you've not heard of these things before, it's fine. It's absolutely fine. Okay. Yeah, absolutely fine. So I'm just going to break it down. Okay. ERP is what we call enterprise resource planning. Enterprise resource planning. Okay. And CRM is customer relationship management. ERP is more business inclined. So you see the finance team, you see supply, logistics, and all those things. Business side of the business side of the business. That's what ERP is used to gather. All right. So anything that has to do with business, okay. So you're working in finance, you're working in logistics, you're working in supply chain. That's what you're going to be using ERP. Okay. So we have ERP like Microsoft Dynamics, Oracle, Sage, SAP. These are just, the top brands that you might be familiar with. So if you've heard of SAP, that's an ERP tool. If you've heard of Sage, ERP, Oracle, ERP, Microsoft Dynamics, very popular now, also ERP. So CRM is more sales and customer related. So anything that has to do with sales, marketing, customer, that's where it falls inside. So you're dealing with your customers, you're buying your customers, you're trying to get new customers, all those things, basically customer lead generation and all those things fall inside the CRM tool. Okay, so you have Salesforce, you would have heard of Salesforce. Salesforce is definitely definitely the largest. So Salesforce, Zoho, you have Sports, you have Zendex, and there are so many other ones out there. Okay, so these are CRM tools. So these businesses, okay, they don't store data. They don't store data inside Excel. They don't store data inside Excel or PDF documents. No. All right. These tools are used to gather data for the business. Now, you've looked at yourself. an individual, how much data you personally generate on a daily basis. Now imagine this business dealing with this number of customers. Just imagine the amount of data they're generating from these customers. Imagine your bank. You are sending money, you are receiving money, you are doing transfer, you're going to ShopRite, you're doing so many things on your bank account on a daily basis. All right. Just imagine if everybody in the bank, if all the customers are doing the same thing, the amount of data that they're generating. That's the kind of things I want you guys to start. That's the kind of picture I want you guys to start to picture. All right. So all these tools I use to gather data for business. Okay, to have everything in the same place, so that when you make a transfer, then you go to the bank. Oh, my bank! I made a transfer yesterday. The money did not deliver. All right. What would they do? They just go to the ERP software, search for your name, search for the reference ID, and they'll be able to tell you that, oh, this money is not gone because of this, and this. All right. They're currently working on it to resolve it. So everything is housed inside the ERP software, okay, and everything is managed within that. All right, so that's basically what we call ERP and CRM. So every organization across the world has an ERP software or CRM software. All right. So we're going to be looking at this particular business. Okay. Calorie Send. Okay. Calorie Send. Not the other one. This is Calorie Send. Okay. Our own personal business. Okay. Myself and Byron, we are launching our fintech company next month. Okay. It's going to be called Calorie Send. All right. So Calorie Send is a financial services and credit organization. Okay. They provide financial services and credit across Canada. Okay. But just taking this, I'm just painting the scenario for you. All right. So that's what they do. They're in fintech. Okay. They're in the finance industry. Okay. Banking industry. And what they do is that they provide financial services and credits, for customers across Canada. So they leverage ERP software. Obviously, I've told you they need to use an ERP software and they need to use a CRM software to manage their customer, their sales, and all that. All right. So moving on. Okay. This is the work of a data analyst. So they need to get a data analyst because they need to be able to tell a story about what's happening in the business. All right. This is the job of a data analyst. And this is why data analyst was also a major buzzword because you are generating so much data within the business. You are generating so much data from your ERP and your CRM tool. So you need a person that will come in to make sense of the data. Come and tell them, oh, we are making so much money from Nova Scotia. Majority of our customers from Calgary we are making so much money from people in Calgary, in Alberta. Our profit from Toronto is not as good as the profit coming from, whatever, Nova Scotia or something, whatever it is. Okay. So, they need a data analyst that will be able to tell this story. You understand? I'll be able to tell this story essentially. All right. So that's why data analysts were in high demand. Everybody wanted to tell a story. Okay. What was our monthly performance? What was our quarterly performance? What was our yearly performance? Compare year on year. What we did this year versus what we did last year. Are we doing better? Are we doing worse? You understand? So they need a data analyst to be able to tell all these stories. And the data analyst will do well. Okay. So conversion rates, cost per lead, website traffic. Are we getting so much traffic on our website? Are people coming in? Is it organic? Is it paid through ads or whatever it is? We need to know so we can make a decision. Okay. Customer acquisition cost, return on investment. Businesses needed to know these things. So that's why they got a data analyst. All right. That's why they got a data analyst. So what the data analyst will do, let me tell you. Let me tell you what the data analyst will do. So if they want to create a report, a monthly report, okay, the data analyst will go into the CRM or the ERP tool. Okay, they'll go into Microsoft Dynamics, they'll go into Zoho Analytics, they'll go into this platform. And what they do, they'll drag, extract the data they are looking for. Okay, so if you want to see yearly performance, okay, yearly performance, or maybe it's a year to date, 2023, you'll put in January all the way to May, and they will extract the data. Okay, they'll now take it to either Excel, Power BI, Tableau to do the analysis and visualization. Okay, and they'll do the presentation. Data analysts love to do presentations and all that. Okay, so that's what the data analyst will do. All right. So monthly data, monthly daily performance, so on and so forth. So they always go into the CRM tool, extract the data, and do the report. That's what they used to do. All right. But our guys actually said something which is absolutely fundamental. Okay, absolutely fundamental. It is if a human operator needs to touch your system during normal operation, you are involved. She works with Google, all right. She's one of the top people on Google. And she said that if a human operator needs to touch your system during normal operation, you are involved. So looking at where the data analyst is coming from, okay? Looking at where the data analyst, so this data analyst, if this data analyst is on leave, okay, and they need to create a report, the monthly performance report, what would happen? Okay, that report is not going to happen because this data analyst is not around, is on leave. Okay, who is going to extract the data? Okay, who is going to extract the data? Who is going to build the report? Nothing is automated. That process of you extracting the data from the CRM tool to whatever analytical tool, okay, that process is not automated. All right. So that is one of the major issues, okay, that organizations were facing. Okay. So you see this, all right. If you have a small watch wait at the start of the business, when the business is still generating small data, maybe they had like 5,000, maybe like 500 customers, you know, 1,000 customers in a day, they may have like 60,000 transactions, it might not be too much. Or, as the business starts to increase, all right, maybe they started just in Toronto, but from Toronto, they've entered into Calgary, they've entered into Alberta, they've entered into, Fort McMurray, they've gone through other regions in Canada. The data will start to increase. Okay. So if normally it will take you like 2 minutes to run a report, okay, it's not start taking like 30 minutes. As the data starts to increase, the data, the downtime starts to increase also. So if it takes you 2 minutes to run a report before, it will take you 10 minutes. Okay. From 10 minutes, it will take you 30 minutes. For 30 minutes, 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours. You see, it's not become very long time for you to create those reports. And you can see this guy here, just like this guy that's inside the wheelbarrow. Okay, when the sand was small, it was easy for the guy to just drag it along and just pour it on the heap that was there. That's what the data analyst will be doing before. It's small data. I need the monthly performance. All right. You would have gone to the CRM to extract the data, run the report, and send it. 2 minutes, you're done and dusted. All right. Once the data starts to increase, you see that's what happened to this guy here. The data is too much. Too much. It's too much for the system to handle. It's too much for the tool to handle. So you see, that's why people mess up. Okay. And you see this guy has messed up already. So that's where data engineering now came in play. Okay. That's where data engineering came to play. So you see, as the data starts to increase exponentially because as a business, you want to gather more customers, you want to make more transactions, you want to make more money, you want to get more customers, you want to do more. So that more that the business is doing more, data is increasing. Data is increasing in size. Okay. So you see, it's not time, it will take to create those reports, it now takes time to create those reports. All right. There's increased risk of error. Okay. So because you know that it's going to take you time to create those reports, you'll not be doing it in batches. Let me extract January data, then I'll extract February data. I'll now extract March data, May, June. You understand? Those things lead to error. You don't know, but it definitely leads to error. There's a high risk, it's prone to error essentially. Okay. Security concerns, okay? Because it takes you so much time, you would always want to bypass the system in order for you to get the data so you can run the reports. Data inconsistency, limited scalability. So if normally you're doing monthly and you want to do yearly, quarterly, biannually, it becomes difficult for you to do all those things. Okay. So reporting became very, very, very limited. Became very limited. That's that's one thing. That's why I tell most people that opportunities in tech, in data most especially, it's absolutely ridiculous. It's still there's still so much responsibility. So many roles are still going to come up in the future. So because of these issues, okay, because data started to increase in the business, and also that it's not possible for a data, they should only have a data analyst. It's impossible to just have a data analyst within the organization. I will just be extracting data, doing the reporting, and that's all. It's going to be very difficult. for them to have just a data analyst. So what would happen? All right. This is essentially what happened next. Okay. So they got this process. Okay. So that's why they now brought in the data engineer. Okay. They brought in the data engineer. Now, this data engineer is now the full first person, the tech expert that is going to come into the industry or the company that will do what we call the ETL process: extract, transform, and load. So you would have seen it in different places, ETL. Okay, extract, transform, and load. All right, this is our data analyst. Okay, this is our data analyst. Now, data engineer is the one responsible for going into the ERP software. Okay, so the ERP and the CRM software. The data engineer is the one that is in charge of that, that is responsible for that. I will go into the ERP and the CRM tool to extract data from those tools. Okay, I will extract data. So the data analyst is not doing the extraction anymore. It's not the job of the data analyst anymore to do extraction and all that. All right. So the data engineer will extract the data, we clean the data. So if there is missing values, there are data inconsistency, there are errors in the data, there are basically, things that are messy data essentially. The data engineer will do transformation, clean up the data. All right. And after transformation, the data engineer will load it into the database. All right. So we'll load it into this is what we call a database. Okay. A database. Okay. So the data engineer will extract the data from the ERP tool, will transform it, make sure it is clean and usable. Okay. Then load it into the database. All right. Now, this data analyst, okay, will connect directly to the database. The data analyst does not need to do that extraction process anymore. Okay. The data analyst now is living a soft life because of the presence of the data engineer. All right. The data analyst will connect directly to the database and start to do their reports. Now, I would ask you this question. This data analytics is so much data, and everybody is learning data analytics, data analytics, data analytics. But who is going to provide this data for the data analyst? All right. We've seen the scenario. Every business is like this. It's always like this. You understand? All right. Who is going to provide data for these people? So you have a data analyst, you have a data scientist. Who are these people that will provide data for the data analyst and the data scientist? The data engineer. All right. And that's why there's so much demand. Because if you're hiring, data analysts, you need to hire multiple engineers that will be able to gather data from every part of the organization and make this data available for the data analyst or the data scientist. All right. Now, because this data analyst needs to run reports every month, every week, every day, do you understand? Even the daily reports, okay, like the bank, I want to see our performance for yesterday. Did we do more foreign transaction against? Did we do more local transaction? So you need to do this thing on a daily basis. Okay. So that's what the data engineer would do. So the data engineer is literally going to automate the process. Okay. The data engineer is going to automate the process. So you see the process of extracting the data from the database, loading it into the database and all that. The data engineer is going to automate the whole process, automate the whole process. So you see the data, so you see this in every day, it is automated. So that leads me back to what Kalagaiza said, okay? So Kalagaiza actually said that if a human operator needs to touch your system during normal operations, you have a bug. So for this particular scenario, okay, that's where data engineers are playing a big role, okay? Because the data analyst does not need to go back into the ERP software every time to be extracting data. The data engineer has automated the whole process to get the data from the ERP software into the database on a daily basis, automated. All right. So all the data analysts need to do, connect to database, prepare the report, and present the report to the management team. So that's basically the beauty of data engineering. So this is why they need data engineers. Okay, this is the huge reason why data engineers are in high demand. Now, a very good question from Chooks. He says, what's the difference between data science and data engineering? Now, let me tell you a fun fact. Majority of the data engineers that we have currently, all right, the majority of the data engineers that we have currently are data scientists and software developers. All right, majority of the current data engineers that we have are data scientists and software developers, experienced, okay, experienced software developers and data scientists. All right. Now, like I said, this role did not used to exist before. It wasn't a proper role. Okay. So sometimes data scientists used to do the work of a data engineer, sometimes in the past. Okay. This is what they used to do. Software developers that develop the back end of the website and all that, they also are very good at SQL or Python and all that. So they can actually do those roles. But now the major difference between data science and data engineering is data engineers, basically, they are moving data from one place to the other. That's their job of a data engineer. The data engineer is just moving data from one source to another source. So you see the ARP tool, that's a database, okay? You see the data warehouse that you're moving it into. This is another data source. So the data engineer is basically like a logistics manager, okay, or a plumber, okay, all right. So you see, it's moving data from this ERP and CRM tool, all right. It's moving it from this place into the data warehouse, all right. So essentially, that's what you're doing. It's moving from the CRM tool into the database. It's just moving data from one source to the other source. So for a data engineer, you don't need mathematics, you don't need statistics, you don't need anything apart from programming languages like Python and SQL. So those are the two major things, criteria that you need, Python and SQL for data engineering. Okay. Now, a data scientist, on the other hand, is majorly for predictive analytics. Right. So if you're looking at the data science role, you see should be able to machine learning, predictive analytics, statistical modeling, and all that. So the role of a data scientist is to be able to do a forecast, to be able to predict what are the likelihoods something is likely going to happen. So looking at this organization now, they want to be able to predict if they're going to make a profit, they're going to make a loss, or they want to predict fraudulent transaction as a bank. They want to be able to predict if somebody initiates a transaction, is it going to be fraudulent or not fraudulent? You see all those predictions, all right? Those are the things a data scientist will do, all right? So when you look at this ecosystem, the data engineer will make the data available for the data scientist for them to do the analysis, predictive analytics, and all that. So that is the demarcation between data engineering and data science. So, Chooks, I hope you understand what I just explained to you. All right. So essentially, that's data engineering. That's the whole beauty of data engineering. Okay. So you see all the old things that you hear about outside ETL that people talk about, ETL pipeline, build ETL pipelines. The whole essence of all these things is to move data from one source to the destination source or another source. So, all right. Are data analysts the same as data scientists? Absolutely no, they're not the same. No, they're not absolutely not the same. Now, in terms of spectrum, a data analyst is doing two things, okay? Two things, descriptive analytics and diagnostic analytics. So when you talk about analytics, there are four types of analytics: descriptive, diagnostic, predictive, and prescriptive. Now, data analyst is only stuck on the first two parts, which is descriptive and diagnostic. So a data analyst is basically finding out what has happened in the past and why that particular thing happened. So that's why you see a lot of data analysts building dashboards, building reports, and all those things. Okay. So that dashboard is basically telling them what has happened in the past. We made 200,000 last month. We generated 15,000 new customers. We did this, basically reporting what has happened. Okay. They're also doing what we call diagnostic analytics. Why did that particular thing happen? So we made 200 million last month. Why did we make 200 million? What regions did we make 200 million? Okay, what kind of customers did we service that enabled us achieve 200 million? So you're not drilling down into the data to find out why certain things happen. So that's a data analyst. It doesn't pass that. Business intelligence, that's what you're doing as a data analyst. Now, a data scientist, on the other hand, is doing those things plus predictive analytics. All right. plus predictive analytics. So you are doing descriptive as a data scientist, you will do descriptive to tell the business what happened in the past. You will do diagnostic, why that particular thing happened. Then you do predictive, what will likely happen. So data scientist is one step above. So that's why you see the machine learning, the deep learning, and all those forecasting techniques and all this. Those are the things you do in data science. So all right. So moving on to the next thing, data source, remove your data from your ERP, CRM databases, external sources into, using the ETL, using ETL, extract, transform, and load to load it into the data warehouse. Now, once the data gets into the data warehouse, you make that data available for the sales department, for the marketing department, for the HR department, the supply chain department, so on and so forth. So now, once the data is available, they can start to use it to make sense of the business. Okay, they can start to use it to deploy so many analytics to tell the business this is what we need to do differently. But first of all, these departments need to have data. They need to have data. Data is absolutely important for them. They need data. And who is going to make this data available for them? It's the data engineer, right? And that's why there's so much demand for data engineers. And I'll show you some of the tech roles. I'll show you some of the places you can actually apply for roles and earn significantly higher than what you're earning at the moment. Remote opportunities, all you need is the skill. All right. So I'm just going to show you a very automated one. This is basically how data flows within every normal organization. All right. So you have a normal database, you have legacy systems. Okay. Legacy systems means old systems within the business. All right. SaaS application, web, like your website, your web applications and all that, and your files, your Excel files, your document files, your PDF and all those things. Now, all these data sources exist in every organization. One or multiple of them exist in different organizations. So you are extracting this data. Okay, so this part here is the job of the data engineer. The data engineer is the one that would extract all the data from these places and make it available for the data visualization, for machine learning, for data sharing, so on and so forth. This is how data move within the organization. But you see, the data engineering roles have now become so predominant, so immersed, okay, within the business to ensure that that is why there is so much demand for data engineers. All right, there is so much demand for it because every organizations need to connect to different data sources, extract the data, transform the data, and make those data available for the end users. Okay, so, Byron is going to walk us through, a typical project. Okay. So Byron is going to walk us through a typical project of a data engineer. I would also show you one other project that would also excite you, all right, potential people that are looking to start. So if you're not a data engineer, you're wrong. Absolutely. All right. So, all right. Somebody said I'm muted, but Byron, you can hear me, yeah? All right.
Yeah, I can hear you. I've been hearing
All right. So yes, I'm going to stop sharing my screen. So Byron is going to walk us through the data engineering project in the next 15, 20 minutes maximum. And let's see how we can work it out. All right. So over to you, Byron. I'm going to stop sharing so you can share your screen so you can walk us through a typical data engineering project.
you. Yeah, thank you, Faith. So I I I may not um stay up to the 20 minutes because it
Okay.
is a lot. It is a lot. So I will just see what I could do. Let me try and share my screen.
Okay.
And yeah. Okay. So yeah, I believe you can see my screen now. So
Absolutely.
so thank you very much. Data engineering concepts down for us so well. So in line with what FMNI is saying, hope I'm audible enough.
Your internet cracked up a little bit. Okay. Well, I
Okay,
think you're better.
is it better now?
It's
Okay.
better now.
Oh, great. So now, in line what FMNI said, it's data engineering is a lot, but it's not challenging. It's interesting. The fact is, in tech field, I think it's the challenges that makes it interesting. So in the KDA, we need to understand that the data analyst is, with respect to data analysis kind of, at the base. Software engineering is there. It's not based on levels, okay? So data engineering is more like in between the software engineering and the analyst. So you're like 75% engineering and 25% analysis. So because you have to understand analysis and then you have to understand engineering. So now the case study we're trying to do is more like let's say you belong to a team of like persons who are trying to build a new e-commerce. Okay, they're trying to build an e-commerce system. Now, because there are so many e-commerce technologies or systems or companies that exist, you cannot just launch into the world and start, selling. You need to like stand on shoulders that already exist so that you will not repeat the kind of mistakes they make. Now, how can you do that? One major business intelligence way of doing that is for you to study your competitors. Okay, when you study your competitors, then you can have an understanding. It is easier for me to know that people buy more of these products, especially around this time, so that when I'm starting my e-commerce product, I would invest more in buying those products. Okay, so now the challenge is how can I gather this information so that I would, get access to what our competitors are selling, and then I will understand, I'll get to generate the insights. So who generates the insights? The likes of data analysts are going to look into it and bring out their insights. The data scientists could predict based on what is going on, but who make sure that they have the quality data and how to really get all those information in one place that will enable an intelligent insight or reports. So here comes the data engineer. So what the data engineer does is, let's say, for example, we want to go into Jumia. Jumia is one of the strong e-commerce portals or companies we have here in Nigeria. So let's say we are checking Jumia websites. Okay. Okay. All right. I guess this should go.
This thing happens most times. Google Chrome sometimes crashes and it takes time. So no, it's gonna load.
Yeah.
You can open a new browser and try a new browser and you see it works perfect.
It's intelligent. It knows when it should be. Okay. So this is, you can see the site, right? So this is Jumia website. They have a list. They have very plenty products, so many products, because a lot of vendors come into this site to, to they're like online shops that are here. So it's not like everything here is coming from Jumia, but so there are persons that have products, and they register on Jumia to display their products. So we have millions of products on this portal. Now, this is like very far from what a data analyst should do in terms of extraction. Just like Femina talked about the ERPs. So the data analyst is probably going to just download, because there's a download button in those ERP software, and they just click download and it gives them their CSV file, and then they try to analyze. Despite that, it's still an issue. Then imagine something like this, that there is nothing like download. You don't have those kind of things. So you cannot go and start, trying to write each item and tabulate them. So, and if the data analysts try to spend a lot of time in trying to find a way to extract this, he won't be able to do his own job. Okay. So it's more like we want a situation whereby one of the reasons why data engineers have come, as Femina explained, is to make the work a bit easier for data analysts. The easier there means that they need more intelligent reports from what exists. So if the data analyst spends most of his time bringing out intelligent insights, then there is more likelihood for the company to grow faster, isn't it? instead of trying to look for a way to, to do extraction, because the tools that data analysis is trained with is very different from what data engineer has. Okay, so now data engineers are the ones that are fully equipped with the tools to get into something like this and extract this information, convert this information into the tabular form. I'm talking of the rows and columns, so that it will be relatable for the data analyst to look into and generate their insights. So we are looking at this and we are saying, okay, data engineer, please could you come in? Now, you should also know that it is not just junior that we are looking for, because we are trying to gather as many from like reputable e-commerce sites. Okay, we are trying to gather those information. So the data engineer says, okay, fine. So what he does is to study the website. Okay, he goes and check the structure of the website, and when he sees the structure, like if you have like a web design background, you know what to call HTML. Okay, so he checks the structure and he finds out the pattern of how these objects are being represented, so that he could understand how he can extract the information, because in the midst of all this information, there are things that are not necessary. Now, for a data engineer to understand the things that are not necessary, that's what makes him have the knowledge of analysis. Because that's why I said 25% analysis, because you need to know that this is what is necessary for analysis. Okay. So the data engineer looks at it, now finds out what information he can do. And because of what it will take to build it, I wouldn't really get into how to start building it from scratch. But I could show you an example of something. I believe you can see my notebook. So this is a code. This is a code that has been written. All right. This is a code that has been written by a data engineer in company X to extract information from Jumia website. Now, there are different ways to do this. First of all, you could use an API. The Jumia is going to probably give you an API like access to the website so that you can extract information. But when you are a competition, when you're a competition to Jumia, and you can't present yourself like, hey, I want to do something that's going to compete with you, so please give me access so that I can extract information. So now, how will I get those information? This is still the data engineer's work. So I I am designing something here. So what I'm writing here is a simple code to me. Is a simple code that makes that creates more like a robotic experience. So this code goes into Jumia as a browser, as a user. Okay, it goes into Jumia as if he's trying to browse. Then he filters information and generates, extracts those information. Now you can see this. This is what we were seeing in terms of diagrams, pictures, with the colors. Now you see, the data engineer has said, what I need from this entire data is the product, the brand, the category, the price, the ratings, and the reviews. So in all those things, the code goes through it, extracts the product information, extracts the brand, extracts the category, extracts the price, fetches the ratings and the reviews. And he does this for all the products it's seeing on the page and goes through all the pages. You can see there are numerous products here that are listed. Now, all these things are those things you saw here. Okay, those are these things you saw here. So it extracted this as business bagman USD portal. This is what I need. I need the price. I need probably number of items. I need the ratings. You can see you are not even seeing ratings here, but because the data engineer knows that the analyst would probably need the ratings to know if people really love this product. Okay, so and he will also check for reviews, because sometimes you could be confused or deceived by ratings. You could have 4.5 rating, but it's one review. All right. So, but the data engineer understands the analysis part and says, okay, I shouldn't just get the ratings, I should also get the reviews. So somebody could look at, say, okay, out of so number of reviews, the person had this rating. That means this is a high rated product. Okay, that's going to help in making the company understand the kind of products they should probably invest in their e-commerce. Now, to just bring out, let's not bore you with the plenty codes. Okay, now it's really interesting to know that this code is something that our students are actually capable of. Some of our students are capable of writing. Okay, so this is like one of the projects that they have actually handled. Okay, so now at the end of the day, I am. These things are being converted. Is this screen showing? Can you see my Postgres? I see the rows and columns.
It's not showing currently. It's not.
Okay, it's not showing. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. I think I should do this. It should be visible now.
Yes, perfect.
Okay. Great.
Yeah.
Great. Now, you see all those things we did in the code block have now been forwarded into a database. This is the database. And you can see how it is now relatable. It's looking like the Excel spreadsheet. So this is the product, Oraimo, and this is the brand, and this is the category, this is the price, this is the rating. So Oraimo portable power charging, I think that should be like the power bank, and it has 8,622 reviews with a 4.3 rating. So that means that this company, this e-commerce company, could note that, okay, I want to probably extract the highest rating products, and those are the products I should invest in. So I'm now saying that for these first 20 products, because these are like 16 products. So if I do this, so this is like first 20 highest rated products. Okay. So if I do this, I'm looking at it and saying that, okay, that means if I invest my money as a company to buy these products and stock them in my warehouse and put them, advertise them in my e-commerce portal, then I'm good to go to get customers to buy them. Instead of trying so hard, okay, there are some, let me do a little query. Let's say this is going to be rating assembly. Now, this is a query to show you everything. So imagine, so you would see that there are some products that have 0 ratings and they have 0 reviews. So imagine this company not realizing these products have this. They just want to buy as many products as possible. So they could probably plan to buy, some of these products. And for when they get into the system, into the e-commerce, they will just realize that, wow, these products don't even have ratings. They don't even have reviews. That means people rarely buy them because there are so many products. So instead of checking through the products, the analyst goes to this database and says, okay, I want to see products that has the highest ratings in descending order. Okay, so when I do this, it just skips all those products that don't have ratings or have very low ratings and shows me the products that have like the highest ratings. So I can see 4.7, 4.6 downwards. So then the company can now decide that, okay, based on this, I want to buy products that have ratings from 4.7 down to probably 4. And then the company knows that it's going to buy 47 range of products. Okay. And so this makes the company, advertise products that people buy the more. It makes the company skip the pattern of, trying to put as many products as possible and then suffering from what probably Jumia was suffering when they started. Okay. Now, so the process of converting all those images from the words, from the graphics and all those things into a coded form and then cleaning it, transforming it. There are several processes that went through for this to appear this way. You can see that the Naira symbol is not here for this price. There is no comma, there's no 0.00 as it was represented on the website. So that's the transformation process that Efemina was talking of. So we extracted it from the website. We transformed it and then loaded it here. If you work on Excel, you know that if you type something like N500 plus N700, it's not going to give you any answer. It's zero because N500 is longer a number. So when you put a symbol here, you will not be able to sum these things up. Okay. So now I had to remove the Naira sign, remove the comma sign, remove anything that is going to affect it from being calculated properly. All right. So that it's going to be easy for the analyst to just run a code or plug in his visualization software, and then voila, he gets what he wants and the business continues. And this is one case study for Jumia website. Imagine I'm merging other websites together, and this table is going to combine the entirety of all those e-commerce websites here. So I can just decide to say, give me the first 100 among all the websites that people buy things the most. And then I extract it and put it up for the data analyst. And data analyst will just submit it to the company that, okay, based on the analysis from these records that have been given to us, these are the products that are best selling in Nigeria or in most of the e-commerce portals. Okay, I think that's more like just a tip of what we do, and I believe it's understandable. So, but if you have any questions, you just push it to us. Efemina, up to you.
All right, perfect. Absolutely fantastic. So you can see how, how important the role of a data engineer is, just moving data from one source to the other. So you see, the data was initially was on the web, okay? But now this process of data extraction, things happen every day. Today you might have so many sales on one particular product and you want to notice it immediately. What would you do? You automate it so that you're not going to the website to download and extract every day. Do you understand? You automate your process of the extraction process and all that. So, these are the things that there's so many opportunities, not just web scraping. This is just you talking about web scraping. All right. But there's still
Yeah.
so many, so many things I will talk about. Okay. But you can see a lot of people look at it and like, oh, can I learn this in 3 months? I think that's the next part we actually need to talk about. Okay. It's actually absolutely possible. Okay, so let me just jump straight into it, and I'm going to share some other, personal project, and this is me sharing my own personal, things I've worked on in my own career. All right, so there was this role I applied for a couple of months, and that's why I tell most people, that if you are currently in the data space, data engineering is a critical skill that you need to have. So I'm just going to go straight to my GitHub account and I'm going to show you one quickly. Okay, just something I work with. So this was a report. This was something I built on, a report. This was the job I was meant to go for. I was applying for the job. Okay, this was about 9 months ago. So it was a senior data analyst role. Okay, and they required me. They said that. See, I'm just going to read it straight to you. In this task, we would like you to analyze and manipulate data using a programming language of your choice, SQL, R, Python, and share your findings about BBC iPlayer usage, so on and so forth. So this is the data that was, it provided, information about the data. Okay. Now, the next thing is for me to, you know, Byron has done a great job explaining the extraction, transformation process of how we move data from one source to the other. So what I did also was to do exactly that. Okay. So the data was actually not, they were not clean. Okay. So you needed to extract, you needed to transform. And those are the things that I did in this particular part. But these things are learnable. All right. So what I did was to do the extraction, the transformation process, and load it into a database. Okay, I loaded it into a database. I'm just going to show you this is the Python notebook file, so you can see it's extracting data from metadata file, extraction completed, a total of 16,000 rows of data, missing data is detected. Um, it will detect missing data, tell you the amount of missing data that was in the data, and now it was treated, so on and so forth. Basically, it goes through that for all the data that was available. And you see, loading metadata, user data, and web use data into the Postgres database. And you see, all of this was loaded successfully into the database. All right. So this is the senior data analyst role that required you to have data engineering. So regardless of everywhere you find yourself, data engineering is becoming that skill that you need to have because data is available in any organization. What sets you apart from every other data analyst out there is how you're able to manipulate data, move data from one source and transform. This is an actual job Do you understand? All right. So this is exactly what we're talking about. And how do you do this? So the script was there for you to, automate the whole process, so on and so forth. So, these are the things that we're talking about that you would learn during the training program. I'm just sharing this from my own personal experience and trying to tell you that this is an actual job. This is an actual. I'm going to show you the PDF again. This is directly from BBC. All right. So if you know, even in the UK, even across the world, they're one of the biggest news platform across the world. So they launched a new service, not really new, all right, called a BBC iPlayer. It's actually one of it's almost like Netflix, all right, but it's more of real-time news and all the things that you have in there. All right, so that's basically it, okay? All right, so let's go into it, okay? Okay, so let's go into what we have here, masterclass. Okay, so the data engineering masterclass, the data engineering is this. We're going to talk about the training program right now. Okay, so the data engineering training program is an immersive and intensive training program. Okay, it's for 3 months, and I'm going to give you details about that. So this is your pathway to becoming a certified data engineer. All right. So you won't get any place out there that would tell you or how to get started. All right. So if you're a beginner, you're looking to get started in data engineering, it's one of the most difficult career paths to actually pursue because you won't get a place where you can actually learn, as a beginner and transition. All right. So most of these places you would see out there don't are not beginner friendly. You must have experience or you must have prior skills, experience in one technology or the other. All right. But this training program is designed for data engineers, beginners. You don't have experience, it's going to take you all from there all the way to expert level. So, anyways, the pathway to becoming a certified data engineer, you're going to learn Python, you're going to learn SQL, you're going to learn Postgres, you're going to learn how to use Linux, AWS, Airflow, Apache Airflow, and GitHub. All right. So the training program is 100% online, 100% online. Okay, 100% online. So you have virtual instructor-led programs. So you have experts like myself, Byron, and I'll share some of the profile of people that will train you. Okay, and this draws me back to what I was talking about at the start of the session. All right. So we leverage people that have experience to come and teach you how they got started, how they're able to transition, the skills that is necessary, and all this. So we have a structured learning approach that would help you achieve that. So it's 100% online. So you're in Zamfara, you're in Togo, you're in Gambia, you're in Sierra Leone, you're in Nigeria, you're in the UK, you're in Canada, anywhere across the world, you can attend the session. So it's 100% virtual. All right. Now it's on hands-on practical, hands-on practical. You saw the projects that we've shared, okay? The Byron walked us through, and you also saw the little one I just walked you through also. It's hands-on practical. You will build these projects by yourself. So majority of these recruiters out there are looking for people that have hands-on experience. Okay? People that have hands-on experience. So you need to be able to show people the projects you worked on. So that's why our classes are hands-on practical. So you'll be building this project and adding it to your portfolio. All right. So, you would have lifetime access to the materials and the experts. So every material that you see, or I'm going to show you the class, I'm going to show you our LMS, the learning management system, where you get to see the materials, you get to interact with the experts, so on and so forth. So you have lifetime access to the materials and the experts. So once you get through the training program, you have lifetime access. So you would have over 24 classes with 50 plus topics. All right. You go through the classes, you have 24 classes and over 50 plus topics. All right. The average income of a data engineer in Nigeria is 10 million naira. Okay. And the average income or the average income of a data engineer in the UK is 52,000 pounds. Okay. Average. Okay. It's 10 million in Nigeria and 52,000 pounds in the UK. All right. So, like I mentioned earlier, you would add 6 projects to your portfolio, more than 6 projects. You will build projects in, starting from Python to SQL, to building pipelines, to working with Apache Airflow, to working with GitHub, with AWS, and so on and so forth. So you would have so many products attached to your resume once you complete the training program. All right. So another thing also is 100% job visibility. Because at the end of everything, you're learning a new skill. You need to get a job. Okay. So what we do also, we do 100% job visibility, whereby we train you on the kind of job you can apply for, where you can apply for remote jobs and all this. And I'm going to show you some of them today before we continue the training program, just to show you the places where you can actually get these remote jobs. All right. So 100% job visibility, we're going to help you land that tech role, okay? Land that data engineering role, regardless of anywhere you are. You're in Nigeria, you're in Ghana, you're looking for remote jobs, you will get these jobs, okay? So we also get you industry relevant certification. You get industry relevant certification. So you get a certificate from Analytics certifying you as a certified data engineer. All right. So you have 3 months training. Okay. The training program is for 3 months. It's for 3 months immersive and intensive training. Okay. 3 months, Saturdays and Sunday. And also you get 1 month free internship. 1 month free internship. And that's the beauty. 1 month free internship. All right. So these are the packages that we have put together to help more Africans, more people transition into the career path called data engineering. Okay. So someone was asking about the tools that you will learn. So you will learn how to use Python. You will learn how to use SQL. You will learn how to leverage NumPy, Pandas, Linux, AWS, S3 buckets, even all other technologies within AWS, GitHub, Beautiful Soup, Cilium, Apache Airflow, and so much more. All right. You will learn this in 3 months. Trust me, and I'll show you what people are currently doing in class at the moment. All right. I'll show you what people have built in class already. Because a lot of people feel like it's impossible until they get started and they get to see that these things are absolutely easy to learn. All right. We did Python yesterday, and people were like, they can't believe that they can actually learn this in just a few hours. All right. So it's actually amazing when I have a proven record of how it works, and it works absolutely. So let me show you how you're going to learn this in 3 months. Let me show you the progression in which you're going to go through. All right, let me show you the progression you're going to go through in order for you to learn this thing in 3 months. So we're going to start with introduction to data engineering. Like I said, it's for beginners. All right, it's absolutely for beginners. So we need to introduce you to data engineering concepts and conversion. What's a database? What's a data mart? What's a data structure? What is a star schema? What is a star schema? What is a snowflake schema? So on and so forth. What's the most optimal data architecture you need to have? How to build a data architecture, how to build a data schema, all those things you will learn them in that introduction session of introduction to data engineering. The next part is you learn SQL. Okay, you learn PostgreSQL. You learn how to query. You learn DQL, DML, DDL. That is data definition, data manipulation, and data query. You will learn all these languages. Okay, in the SQL, so you know how to use SQL because your role as a data engineer is at least I would say 50% SQL, almost 80% SQL. To be honest. Okay. Now you also learn Python. Okay, Python is that technology you're going to leverage. You'll be using SQL in the Python environment. You'll be working with Python and databases and so on and so forth. All right. So you learn Python. Okay. You learn how to use NumPy, pandas to do data manipulation and so on and so forth, and data transformation also. Moving on to Linux, you learn how to use Linux, okay? You'll move on to building custom ETL pipelines, working with APIs. Byron talked about working with APIs, working with websites, extracting data, moving data, building a data pipeline. How you move a data from point A to point B, that's a pipeline. All right. So the next thing is automation. You need to be able to automate the way the data flows. All right. So that's where Apache Airflow comes in. So you learn Apache Airflow, okay, to perform what we call orchestration and scheduling. Okay. So you automate the whole process, the way the data flows from one data source to the other data source. The next part is AWS cloud engineering. AWS cloud engineering, you will get to learn that. You get to work with, X3 bucket and other technologies within, the AWS landscape in order for you to move data from any source into the AWS platform and how you can actually manipulate data within AWS. So you do AWS cloud engineering. And last but not the least, you would also work with version control using GitHub. All right. So you also leverage GitHub. These things together, you're going to learn them together, building projects. Okay. But that's the best way to learn. Now, if you have the carpenter, does carpenter carry, if you have a carpenter that is trying to learn to become a carpenter, you don't see the person carrying books to school to the shop or carrying a textbook. How does the person learn? The person learns from practical, go and cut this, go and measure this, go and do this based on projects. So you're going to learn on projects, and I'm going to show you some of the projects we have built in class. Okay. So you're going to learn through projects, baby step, baby projects, move data from this place to this place, move from your local drive to this particular data source, so on and so forth. So you take it baby steps until you now start to deploy it into bigger applications like AWS and so on and so forth. All right. So let me show you the roadmap you're going to take into becoming a data engineer, into becoming a certified data engineer. So you start with introduction to data engineering, like I said, then you move on to Python, SQL, building ETL pipelines, laying out Apache Airflow, and then you become a certified data engineer. All right. So our training programs are 100% virtual. Okay. It's a virtual training program, 100% virtual. You can be anywhere in the world, right? Attend the session anywhere. All right. You can even move from your sitting room to the kitchen and you'll still be able to attend the session. You can even relocate from your house to another country. Yes, Saturdays and Sundays, the weekend classes. So we have the classes every weekend, Saturday and Sunday. That's what we do. All right. So the classes are purely weekends. Okay. So it doesn't interfere with your day-to-day tasks. Okay. Now, I would also talk more about the 1 month internship program where you start to work with data engineers and also data scientists and data analysts. But at the end of everything, you want to be able to convince a potential employer that you have gotten a skill set. You've not just gotten the skill set, you've also worked in an environment that allows you to work with data analysts and data scientists, and you're able to deploy these across different technologies, so on and so forth. So these are the things that you are going to work on. All right. So I'm going to share some of the internship. So additional benefits, okay, is so this all this learning, the technical skills, okay, all this engineering, Python, SQL, this amounts to 50% of what you get from the training program. All the technical skills amounts to just 50%. So all the Python, the SQL, the pipelines, the Apache Airflow, the GitHub, the AWS is just amounting to 50% of what you will get from the training program. Now you would ask yourself, what is the other 50%? All right. What is the other 50%? This is the other 50%. Right. So a lot of people find it difficult to transition, and this is coming from our own personal experience. People find it difficult to transition from their previous job role to where they are at the moment because they don't know how to sell themselves. Right. So we have sessions. We have session called the CV review sessions. Okay, we have one-on-one CV review sessions whereby we help you review your CV. So you've been a banker all your life. Okay, how do you now transition? Well, how do you transition from being a banker to becoming a data engineer? How do you make that transition? We help you review your CV, revamp your CV, and adjust it to suit what career path you're looking at. All right. So we also do LinkedIn optimization. We do LinkedIn optimization. Majority of the jobs that you'll be getting will be on LinkedIn. Can guarantee you that, especially for remote roles. And I'm going to show you that in a second. I'll show you places you can actually apply for data engineering roles via LinkedIn. But now the key thing is your LinkedIn profile has to be optimized. All right. Your LinkedIn profile has to be optimized in order for you to latch onto these kind of opportunities. Okay. So yeah, that's the key thing that you need to get. You need to know. Okay. The next part is navigating the job market. Now, as a data engineer, you just learn data engineering. You really don't know what jobs you can apply for. A lot of people would think it's just data engineering roles they can apply for. But they don't know you can apply for BI engineer roles. They don't know you can apply for data architect roles. They don't know that you can apply for so many other roles. And I'm going to share some of those roles with you shortly. All right. The next part is recommendation and reference letter. Now, because you're transitioning, most of these employers are looking for your recommendation. In the tech space, recommendation and reference letter plays a whole lot. All right. So if you're trying to get a job in the US, they want to get a recommendation. If you're in the UK, you're trying to get a new job. How you get a recommendation, a reference letter from your previous employer? All right, that's where we come in. We give you that work, but because you've worked with analytics, you're trained, you have built projects, you've done those internship, you can claim work experience, and you can use that to leverage, the new job that you're looking for. All right. So if you're going to be working with analytics, you put analytics, data engineer at analytics, and you can use that to get what you're looking for. The next part is job and interview preparation. Job and interview preparation. So you see, when you apply for a job, you need somebody that will guide you because most people don't know how to answer interview questions. You've never been to a data engineering interview session before. What kind of question are they likely going to ask you? If they ask you, tell me about yourself, how do you answer that kind of question? You see people saying that, oh, I'm from Lokoja, I'm from this not local government, I am 80 years old, I am this, I am. That's not what you need to say during a tell me about yourself question. Okay, so we have an approach called the seat approach. Okay, the seat approach. Your skills, your experience, so on and so forth. And for action based, for other kind of questions, situational based question, like tell me about a time you moved data from this source to this source and what challenges did you encounter? There's another technique we call the STAR approach. Okay, the STAR approach that you use in telling a story about how you were able to perform a particular task. Okay, so these are the things that we're going to teach you more. That's not just it. We have so many more techniques that we use to groom our participants, and that's why we have so high, we have a high rate of participants getting jobs and moving jobs and switching jobs. We have a very high rate. Okay, so, CV review sessions, LinkedIn optimization sessions, navigating the job market, reference letter, recommendation letter, job and interview preparation. We have mentorship sessions. So we bring experts across the industry that would also come in to help you, talk to you, and help you, find the fit in the tech space. Okay. So those are the things that you get addition to the technical skills. So the technical skills obviously is very, very important. Okay. It's absolutely important. But one thing you should know also is you need a soft skill. You need a good CV. You need a good LinkedIn profile. You need to know the kind of jobs you can apply for. You need to have somebody that will recommend and reference you. Okay. You need somebody that will prepare you for an interview. That is what we do. All right. So this is the other 50%. Now, regarding the internship program, like I said, you can add that internship, you can add your training time and your internship time with analytics as a work experience on your CV. You can put them on your CV and tell potential recruiters that you worked as a data engineer with analytics and you can use to leverage that to get the job that you're looking for. All right. 1 month owning your skill. So you've learned for 3 months. You're going to now work on more projects, okay? Because they say what practice makes perfect. So these projects you're going to be getting are projects, real life projects, like the one I showed you from BBC. You will get projects that experts have worked on in the own industry. You're going to use that to leverage your own experience to tell people you have used this, you have done this. These are the projects you've worked on. So there are so many things you are going to learn from the training session. So project review with an expert. So you see all these projects you're going to be working on. It's not just going to you won't just be building it in absence of an expert. So you have somebody that will coach you, that will guide you, and I'll show you some of the experts that we have internally. All right, and now we'll see how we work that out. All right. So 6 real life projects. You get to work on 6 real life projects or more. Plus, okay. So during the program, you build over 6 projects. During the internship, you work on 4 projects, 4+ projects. Every week you have a new project. So 4+ projects. If you have enough time, you do over 6 projects. Okay. So these are the things that we are going to do for you. Okay. These are the internship program. And these projects you will definitely learn a lot because we are going to be incorporating data analysts, business analysts, and all these requirements. So you feel like you have that experience as a data engineer. All right. So those are the things that you're going to get. So that's why we call it the Tech Analytics Growth Internship Program. Okay. So these are the things you're going to do together. Okay. So roles that you can actually apply for, some of the roles you can apply for, you have data engineer, business intelligence developer. They also call them business intelligence engineers. All right. Big data engineer, analytics engineer, ETL developer, technical architect, data science engineer.